Hey everyone, welcome to Financial Revelations. I am your host, David Szafranski. There are a lot of moving parts going on in the market right now. I'm going to get to those in a second. And I want to talk about really three things today. I want to talk about tariffs, I want to talk about Greenland, and I want to talk about Venezuela. Those are the three things I want to talk about. But if you have a question, if you want to call here, you could do that. 1-800-344-2534. We'll take your call. You may even get to talk to me. And I know a lot of people have reached out recently to ask about the missions trip that we're taking in March. We go to the Amazon River in Brazil. We fly into Manaus. We go east on a boat and then south to a town called Maués. And we're in the state of Amazonas in Brazil. You can look it up. It's on a map. It's very far from everything. Now, we can't take anybody else with us on this trip. This trip is full. We have other trips that are going if you're interested. If you want to give, and that's what most people have called about, is how do they donate to the trip? You can donate in a couple of different ways. You can go to nativosusa.org, nativosusa.org, and there's a give button there. And I want to tell you, we are setting up our own 501c3, and when that happens, about 99% of all the money that's given will go to the mission. Right now, it's about 95%, so we're going to raise that up a little bit. We want to get as much money as possible to the people we serve, so that's what we're going to do. And but you can give right now. You can. The things that happen are we take people that can't afford to go sometimes, and so we'll help support their trip because we want to expose it to as many people as we can. Secondly, we meet the need, but we drill fresh water wells, we build churches, we build bathrooms. If you ever are in a village in the jungle, one thing that you'll notice is there's no glamour bathrooms there. Now, we live on a boat. We have bathrooms on our boat, kitchen, and all that. Our boat is self-sustaining. But the villages, it could be kind of a tough place to live. So we put water wells in there. We build bathrooms. We build churches. We take dentists. We take doctors. We take surgeons there. They don't do surgery in the jungle. They basically go and evaluate people for surgery, and then bring them out we'll treat them in Manaus. And generally those surgeries are donated, through one means or another. We are bringing a dentist and a surgeon this time, so both of those things will be happening. But you can donate, and so that's how you give. And there's a lot of things. Personally, I like when you just give money because then we can buy the things that we know that are needed there, and that's what we do. So we're collecting things now for the people that are going on the trip. They're buying things for the kids of the villages, the missionaries that we go there to, that are serving the people in the jungle and along the rivers. So all that's happening. So what did I say I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about tariffs. I want to talk about Greenland, and I want to talk about Venezuela. Let's knock the easy one out first. Venezuela. Oh, Venezuela's easy, you say? Well, yeah, it is actually. Now, I know a lot of people think we went in there because of oil. And in some sense we did, because Venezuela was selling their oil at a heavy discount to Cuba. Venezuela is essentially a nation state of Cuba. Well, they were. They're not anymore. Cuba's getting no oil from Venezuela right now. So odds on favor to a humanitarian crisis happening in Cuba in the next month that we're going to have to service. And that's okay, because we want to do that. We don't want to see people suffer. The United States does not allow people to suffer like that. And so we are probably going to have to step in there if they'll take our help. They may not. The other thing is that Russia and China were very heavily involved in Venezuela. And it was their radar systems that we took out very easily, mind you, when we went in there. If you've seen any video of the Venezuelan raid where we snatched Maduro out of their most heavily armed military base, the Chinook helicopters were flying at about 100 feet. You only do that when there's no radar, because you could take one of those things out with a pistol if you're a good shot. So they were not very afraid of being detected at these low levels. But essentially, we have ejected China and Russia from Venezuela. Now, there is a big right-wing swing happening in South America. This is good. This is really good for the citizens of South America because it gives people a fighting chance to make a life, to have a business, to get away from fraud and deceit and graft. Although we have that here, all you got to do is look at Minnesota, California, and even some parts of Ohio with these daycare centers. They've never seen anything like this before. How it could go on for this long and not be detected, kind of odd. I think it was detected and ignored by some people, but this right-wing swing going across South America right now is really important for a couple of reasons. It helps the people out. It does away with this socialist system, which we know doesn't work. Thomas Sowell, the greatest living economist of our time, you could see a video of him. If all you did is watch videos of Thomas Sowell, and there's another economist I'm going to think of. He's deceased. He died in 2006. I'll think of his name. We'll put it on the podcast. If all you did is watch their videos, you could become a good capitalist. You could become a great capitalist. And but one of the things that they point out is the only system that ever drags people out of poverty, the only system that you need walls to keep people out. And when they built walls in the Eastern Bloc, they didn't do it to keep people out. And when the wall fell, I can tell you which direction people ran. The only system that does that is capitalism. It's the only system. It's the only system that allows people to prosper for their ideas. In China, if you have a good idea, the government loves it. What do? They shoot you in the head and they take it. That's communism in a nutshell. In socialism, what they say is, oh, that's a great idea. You're going to share the wealth with everybody. So consequently, there's very, very little innovation in socialist countries because why do it? You're not gonna feel the benefit of it. So why do it? And that's what it does. It stymies innovation. Capitalism rewards good ideas and innovation, and that's why most of the ideas, the great ideas and the innovation, come from here and come from Israel because they have capitalism. So what we did in Venezuela is really, it's not 4D chess. It's like 7D chess. It is getting repatriated assets back for our oil companies that were stolen. It is kicking China and Russia out of Venezuela and out of our hemisphere to some degree, not totally, but to a large degree. They were really banking on Venezuela being their nation state. For Cuba, for Russia, for China. It's also, a lot of people don't know this, but the British government launders money through Venezuela. Well, what? I thought they were our friends. Yeah, well, people think a lot of things that aren't true. So it really throws this world order into disarray, and that is to our benefit. Now, Davos is happening this week. It's when Davos is when all the climate activists get together on their own private jets and fly to Davos and tell us why we shouldn't fly. That's what they do. And by the way, the irony is lost on them. They do not see the irony of their stupidity. But we do, and Donald Trump does. And Donald Trump is going there with a hammer to break this place up, and that's going to happen. And that's also to our benefit. So that's Venezuela in a nutshell. And that's a good thing. All of these things are good things. And so I knew that was going to happen as soon as I remembered that my phone was not on Do Not Disturb. Corey told me, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. I said, oh, it is. What else did I want to talk about?
Greenland and tariffs.
Greenland. I gotta admit, Greenland's a little bit of a mystery to me. Now, Greenland is our friend. And Denmark, for the most part, is our friend. But Greenland just got autonomy just a few years ago. It's not like they've been this, 400-year-old democracy. They're not. They're a welfare state for Denmark. They get about $1 billion a year, and we've had a lot of military bases there over the years. We have pulled back from Greenland recently, And I think my guess is that there is something internally going on, intelligence-wise, that we don't know about and nobody is talking about. And because of that, Greenland has come to the forefront. And it could very well also be about natural resources and rare earth materials, although we're finding more rare earth materials in New Mexico and Arizona and places like that, very arid places. But it is true that Greenland does sit on a dearth of rare earth materials. But I don't really think it's about that. I think it's more about an intelligence operation that is going on, that we lost 2 Russian submarines. So we track these submarines. They pull out of port. We essentially know where they are within a region. We lost 2 of them recently. And one of them we found only because it had the surface, because it was on fire. The only way a Russian submarine operates 30% of the time is on fire, because they're communists and you don't get rewarded for good ideas there. And so they have a lot of bad ideas. But we did lose submarines, and one of them turned up fairly close to our territorial waters, and we don't want that. And it came around Greenland. It's the quickest path to the Northeast, to Canada. So that's the importance of Greenland militarily. But my guess is that if we told Greenland, hey, we'd like to put 25 bases there and 100,000 soldiers, they would welcome it. So I don't totally understand why this is happening the way it's playing out. But here's what I do understand. Don't get bent out of shape about it. Don't throw your arms up in an uproar yet. Don't sell all of your holdings because we're about to take over Greenland. We're not going to launch a military assault on Greenland, I promise you. That's not going to happen. What is going to happen is we're going to get some rights there that we might not currently have. And the world does this, and the liberals do this quite frequently. When Donald Trump takes a position, they light their hair on fire. They light their blue hair on fire. But apparently blue hair and purple hair burns brighter, because that's what they do. And their hair is burning bright right now with, how could we do this? Don't you know that they're our friends? Okay, we get all that. And it is true that Donald Trump has a style that is, it's unorthodox. It's an unorthodox style in the world of niceties. And that is very true. But nonetheless, it is what we have. And we have to deal with what we've got, not with what we want. And what we've got is a president who stakes pretty high positions and sometimes gets them. And so whatever it is the end game is here, we'll get there. And on days like this, I want to be a buyer because there's blood in the street. So we have a non-economic issue causing an economic problem, and stocks are going down. It's an exogenous thing, and that's when you want to buy, because it doesn't necessarily affect the economics of companies, just their stock price. So when the stock price goes down, you want to buy. You buy when the blood is in the streets. That's what you do. And if you can do those things, if you can stay growth oriented when everybody's running away, I promise you, you're going to do pretty well in the markets. Remember, markets are up about 80% of the time. Now, that doesn't mean individual stocks. Like an individual stock might not be up 80% of the time, but the ones we pick generally are. Okay, am I that much better than everybody else? I don't know. I don't know what everybody else does. I know what we do. And I know we're pretty good at it. We've created a lot of wealth for people. So I can't promise that that's going to happen in the future. There's no guarantees on our website that that'll happen in the future, but I feel relatively good about it. I can tell you that. I feel relatively good about it. What's the other thing I wanted to talk about, Corey? Tariffs. The tariffs are going to get decided by the Supreme Court. It might even be today or tomorrow or the next day, certainly within the next couple of weeks. Could be while I'm talking. These things will get decided by the Supreme Court. If they rule against Donald Trump and the tariffs, which is possible, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a legal scholar. I think the president, I think one of the things that Donald Trump has figured out in this presidency, and that he learned from Joe Biden, who did this very well, was that the power of the president is expansive. And you can expand it as much as you want to until the court tells you no, and that's what this is an attempt to do. But if they rule against him, there's other mechanisms to put the tariffs in place. So I don't envision big refunds. I don't envision trillions of dollars of refunds. I just don't see that happening. And so would it affect the market? Yeah, it would probably affect the stock market. I'm looking over at my screen right now with a lot of red on it currently. But there are other mechanisms to institute these tariffs, and those things would happen. So while the administration kind of took the path of least resistance, there are other paths to do these things. So as we think about those things, don't light your purple or blue hair on fire if you're a liberal, although it's probably already burned from 1 year of Donald Trump's president. He's been president for 1 year, and we've secured the border. Where I really do think they're attacking inflation, and this is how they do it. You get fuel prices down. Now, there is a balance to fuel prices. For instance, if you got oil to $20 a barrel, nobody in the oil fields makes money. And it's hard for them to keep operations going at $20 a barrel. So there's got to be a balance here. But I'm about to go get gas, and I bet you I get it at about $2.20 a gallon in Ohio. That's pretty good. If I went in and bought a bottle of water, a 16-ounce bottle of water at the gas station, it would be $3.50. But I'm paying $2.20, and you think about, well, for water, what do they got to do? Got to put it in a bottle and put it on a shelf. Gasoline, think about what goes into refining oil to gasoline, and it's less than a gallon of water. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, you would think with inflation and everything, oil would be at $20. We would be at $20 a gallon, but we're not. We're at $2.20 a gallon. And the reason why that attacks inflation is because when energy is cheap, your economy expands. Cheap energy is the mother's milk to a thriving economy. And if you can make energy cheap, what you do is, one, you lower the cost to bring everything to the market, because everything's got to get to the market somehow. And it's usually in a truck, a train, plane, a bus, a boat, something like that. It takes energy. And then as you expand your economy, you expand productivity, and then you get paychecks that are rising at a rate greater than inflation. Okay, so if paychecks are rising in a rising productive market where you're producing 7% more and paychecks are up 5%, well, that's a growth economy. Inflation falls even though wages are going up because productivity is rising. And the Trump administration understands this relationship to the minutest levels. And that's why we're going to attack inflation. You get those energy prices down, you expand the economy, you put more money in people's pockets, they go out and they spend while they're still saving. All these things can happen at the same time. And that's why I think inflation is going to be below target, or at least at target, by the end of the year. And I hope it's below target. The idea that we should run 2% inflation is bull hockey. You'd much rather run it at 1%, because inflation hurts the people the most that can least afford it. So people that are not in the ownership class, they don't own stocks and bonds, they haven't participated in a 401k, they don't have an IRA, they don't own a house. Those people get ravaged by inflation. So when we get to low inflation, one of the things that we have to do is encourage people, even if it's small, encourage people to save and invest. Now, they're not saving and investing in the economy, they're saving and investing in themselves. So you open up a Roth IRA, you participate in your firm's 401k or retirement plan, even if it's a tiny amount. Now, people say, well, I don't have any more room in my budget. I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. You're lying to me right now, and I hate to be lied to. $5 a month, $20 a month, you have that in your budget. Well, then I can't get a Starbucks. That's right. Then I can't buy Lucky Strikes. Shouldn't be doing that anyway. I smoked when I was in the Army and for a little while after. It's really hard to quit, and it's a very expensive habit. I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. it didn't really make me a better person, but it did make me smell better. For sure. So you have money in your budget. I know I can find it. Budgets are like garbage dumpsters. There's always more room. An expert can find more room. I am David Szafranski, a real American, a true red-blooded gun-owning patriot, and the voice you can trust.